Hey guys, before we get into this video, I just want to let you know I'm back from a 7-day suspension here on YouTube for spreading MED misinfo, which is utterly ridiculous because I don't give that kind of information out on this channel. YouTube knows that. But the broad picture here is that a voice wasn't silenced for 7 days. Well, it was, but that's not all that happened. For 7 days, people who wanted to see my content, people who wanted to hear what I had to say, were told, you can't see it. Even though you subscribed to this channel, even though you may have hit the bell notification icon, even though this might be the content that you want to put into your cranial structure there was somebody out there that said, no, I know what's good for you. And you don't need to see this. And we won't allow you to see this. What a lot of people don't understand, specifically those who call for censorship, is they want somebody else to make their decision for them. And when you continue going down that road, these people who are okay with censorship today probably won't be okay with it in the future. Now, we've seen history. We've read what the history books teach us. And basically those who burn books today, and that's what censorship is. That's what's going on today. It's modern day book burning. Those who burn books today will be burning bodies tomorrow. And I know this may sound shocking to a lot of people, but when they basically tell you, no, we're going to cut that person's tongue out. And by the way, when they do cut a person's tongue out, they're not proving to the world that that person is a liar. They're just demonstrating that they fear what that person might have to say, and maybe they don't have a good argument against it. Maybe they'll be caught with their pants down. Maybe those people who want other people silenced are the ones that need to be questioned and scrutinized. Because I don't want to silence those people who want to silence me. I don't want to silence the CNNs and the ABCs, which is always broadcasting crap, or the NBCs or the CBSs of the world. I don't want them silenced. Why? Because I think we have better ideas. I think we have better information. And even if we don't, I want my information to be challenged, just like their information should be challenged. So when you cut somebody's tongue off, you're not just eliminating that voice. You're chopping off the ears of everybody who wanted to listen to that voice, even the ears of those who today are calling for censorship. So if you guys get something out of this content, whether you agree with it or disagree or whatever, if you disagree, let me know in the comment section below. We're all correctable. We're all on a path. We're all on a journey. None of us is greater than all of us. If you enjoy this content, please make sure that you have subscribed to this channel, because people are constantly getting unsubscribed. Hit the bell notification icon. Go to my backup channel, Grease Monkey Videos. I mean, right now, if you don't do it right now, you probably won't do it. Grease Monkey Videos, here's the deal. That's right. We talk about, law enforcement agents and what they could do better, and how this could be a better world if they basically just followed their own laws. And definitely take a moment right now to subscribe to me on BitChute, on Odyssey, on Rockfin. All those links are in the description of this video. Please take a second right now and do that. I don't want, a lot of people are saying, why don't you just leave ScrewTube? It's not, to me, it's not about ScrewTube. This channel has been monetized. People are like, whoa, you're just making a lot of money. This channel has been demonetized for a long, long time. I'm not making money having this presence right here on YouTube. The reason I want to stay on this platform is because of you guys. You are my audience. You are my listeners. I don't even call you followers. We're just fellow sojourners, and I don't want to break that communication. I don't want to break that communication on this platform or any platform. As I've said many times before, I'm going to ride this train until the wheels fall off. And, it's been quite shaky for the last couple of years, a little bit stressful. But guys, let's go ahead and get into this video. Please take a second right now and subscribe to me on all my alternative media platforms. If you do want to support this channel, grab one of those hard-hitting conversation-starting designs from the store that you can put on a shirt, hoodie, mug, or whatever. Check me out on Patreon, but especially Subscribestar, because people are being eliminated from Patreon and PayPal and Venmo and all that. But if you want to contribute to this channel and support or whatever, I really appreciate it. Thank you to all my Patreon supporters. Thank you to everybody who supports this content on Subscribestar. And thank you, for everybody who sends me snail mail. I love to receive snail mail. All that information is in the description below. Let's go ahead and get into today's video. Hey guys, study after study shows that if you want strong bones and muscles, healthy hair, skin, teeth, and nails, you need the 5 types of collagen in your diet. I get mine from BioTrust. I've got a link in the description with a massive discount, and it'll tell you all about it. Right before I went live right now, I got another community guideline strike after today ended my 7-day suspension for my first community guideline strike. They issued me another one. You can see it right here. It says important information. This is my channel dashboard. You can see behind the scenes here. Your content, this is how bad news stations are getting, was removed due to a violation of our community guidelines, and your channel got a first strike, which is interesting because I already got a strike 7 days ago on January 27th. I'm going to show you that right here. When you click on this right here, active community guideline strike, you can see these two right here. This first one from Whoopi Goldberg was on January 27th. And then they put the one that I got today under January 27th and didn't up my strike count. I don't even think I'm going to review this, click the review button on this because I don't want to alert them. Because anytime I do a review, anytime I submit an appeal, it typically gets rejected. So I don't even know if I'm going to do it right now. Because if they make this second one stick and I get my second community guideline strike, then I can't upload for 14 days on the main High Impact Flicks channel. What I wanted to talk about today is there's common knowledge in the United States, really around the world, that if you want dependable disinformation and misinformation, you go to Washington, D.C. The D.C. doesn't just stand for District of Columbia, but District of Criminals, District of Corruption, Washington's District of Corruption. You can count on them not being on the level with you. You can count on them lying to you. And now what we see today is the White House urges Spotify to take further action on Joe Rogan. And then they say, more can be done. Let's take a look at this press briefing. I did a little compilation funny thing right here with Jen Psaki, but listen to what she says, because the bottom line is this is not funny. This is a call for censorship. And if there was anybody on the planet who should be stewards of the First Amendment and protecting freedom of speech and going against censorship, it would be the seat of government in Washington, D.C., but they do the exact opposite.
Disclaimer, it's a positive step, but we want every platform to continue doing more to call out mis and disinformation while also uplifting accurate information. Our hope is that all major tech platforms and all major news sources, for that matter, be responsible and be vigilant to ensure the American people have access to accurate information on something as significant as COVID-19. That certainly includes...
So think about this. Let's play the rest of this.
Includes Spotify.
So, I mean, I know this is there's like a little humorous twist to this because Psaki says Spotify, which I'm sure was just a misspeak. But it's not a funny matter when you have the White House demanding that a private company do more to silence voices of people on their platform. So rather than taking this First Amendment to heart, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech. We've gone way beyond abridging freedom of speech when you have a spokesman for the White House and Washington's District of Criminals demanding that more be done along the lines of silencing voices. And this right here is from The Independent. White House urges Spotify to take further action on Joe Rogan. More can be done. This right here from the Daily Mail says the White House urges Spotify to do more to, quote, combat misinformation after adding warnings amid Joe Rogan's backlash Saki says, disclaimer is a positive first step. I don't have a problem with disclaimers, guys. Well, actually, I do and I don't. I saw the congressional hearing from 1985 yesterday. I was reviewing it. You remember when Al and Tipper Gore were going against rock stars and wanting them to put warning labels on? Well, Dee Snider made an appearance. Dee Snider from Twisted Sister made an appearance in Congress arguing that, hey, you know what? Yeah, you can put these warning labels, but what I'm telling you is you're trying to skew the minds of people who otherwise would have bought our album. And he's kind of got a point there, because there are a lot of people who are status minded who actually look to Washington, D.C. to make the rules that we all got to follow. And if we don't, then we're criminals. So in a sense, when you put a disclaimer on something because government told you to do it, you should be free to put a disclaimer on it or not. You shouldn't be forced in society as a business owner, and in this case, Spotify, the Spotify platform owner and owners. You shouldn't be forced by the government or shamed by mainstream media, insecure mainstream media, into putting warning labels on something that really doesn't need a warning label. If in the free market you decide to put a warning label on it, like on cigarette packages, although that was basically forced by the government too. Just put out information. Here are the dangers of smoking. Here's why you probably shouldn't smoke. Not saying, hey, give me those cigarettes. You're not allowed to smoke. And if the government truly did care about the lives of its citizens, you're not a citizen, you're a human being. But if the government truly did care about human beings, wouldn't they bar access to cigarettes? Wouldn't they bar access to alcohol? Wouldn't they bar access to things that they would consider, oh, these are dangerous, these lead to death? But if they were really concerned about that, wouldn't they do that? And yet they don't. Why don't they do that? Because the tobacco lobby is strong. And besides that, under the free market, none of that stuff should be limited. But if they really did care about misinformation, if they really did care about the lives of their constituency, you'd think they would have already stepped in, but they don't. What do they do, though? What do they make illegal? Things that actually help people, like cannabis. White House urges Spotify to do more to combat misinformation. The quintessential misinformation agents want other people to do more about misinformation. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said that while Spotify plans to add a disclaimer to COVID-related content, and it's a positive step after uproar over the anti-VAXX stances were shared on the Rogan podcast, but social media networks need to do more. The disclaimer is a positive step, but we want every platform to continue doing more, to call out mis and disinformation, says the disinformation agents, while also lifting up accurate information. I mean, look at the facts. Our hope is that all major tech platforms and all major news sources, for that matter, be responsible and vigilant to ensure the American people have access to accurate information on something as significant as that right there. And that certainly includes Spotify. I'm not going to read the rest of this article right here, but what I thought was very interesting is that Newsweek put out this opinion piece called The Left is Weaponizing Misinformation, and they put misinformation in quotes to silence dissent. And isn't that the way of government? Don't they always come up with some justification for why they have to limit your freedoms? Don't they always come up with something that they say is necessary? And that's where William Pitt the Younger comes in. He said, necessity is the plea for every infringement of human freedoms. It's the argument of tyrants. It's the creed of slaves. It's necessary that we do this for the safety and security of the American people. We have to stifle freedoms. We have to trample on the First Amendment that we swore to uphold. It's justified in this case. But I'm going to read a couple of these paragraphs from Newsweek because actually it was pretty good. Just as you thought the 2020s couldn't get any more dystopian, we are now witnessing the enthusiastic embrace of corporate censorship by the left in the name of combating the nebulous scourge of misinformation. Excellent word choices. Joe Rogan, the most popular podcaster in the English language, has found himself at the center of a firestorm of progressive ire from scientists to celebrities to rock legends to White House spokespersons acting in their official capacity, all for the crime of allegedly spreading dangerous misinformation and endangering public health. The absurd pushback is not new. Progressives and outraged experts have been anxiety ridden over the prominence of Rogan's podcast and its wild success. But the straw that broke the camel's back has been Rogan's open skepticism. And that is truly what it is. If you look at Rogan's podcast, he's sprinkling in healthy doses, in my opinion, healthy doses of skepticism regarding the official story of about narratives. This skepticism has pushed liberal establishment outrage to such a fevered pitch that it provoked White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki to urge Spotify, the platform that hosts Rogan's podcast, to, quote, do more to combat on the platform. Labeling skepticism about official narratives misinformation is steadily becoming the liberal establishment's favorite tool to silence and defame dissenting perspectives. And later on in this article, this author makes a really, really good point that if you brought out information today that they called misinformation, when I'm talking about I'm talking about the establishment, corporate legacy media, and all of the experts and authorities and the medical profession. If you said what they're saying today, you would be labeled as a misinformation agent, and they would be demanding that platforms kick you off. And actually, platforms would be doing it. Platforms would be kicking you off for saying what the top shelf authorities are saying today. The term misinformation is often employed with such reckless abandon that one need not actually spread malicious falsehoods to be assailed by it. Thus, a comedian like Rogan, who makes no claim to intellectual authority or expertise, is now the center of this ridiculous controversy. And that's truly what it is. It's a ridiculous controversy that they're trying to say is super serious. You got to listen to us. If you don't listen to us, a bunch of people are going to die. You know what has pushed this penchant to another level? Just a year ago, it was considered treasonous heresy, and even racist to question the narrative pushed by the liberal establishment that has zoonotic origins. The lab leak theory was considered beyond the pale, though now, just 1 year later, it's the consensus view of fake stream media. Fake stream, CIA infiltrated Operation Mockingbird, MK Ultra Media. Last year, openly questioning the usefulness of these things was shut down by the liberal mainstream, yet now this corporation right here is casting doubt on their utility. And among other things, about can you get it and give it to somebody else after you bow down to... It's utterly hypocritical for establishment liberals to accuse skeptics and dissenters of willfully spreading malicious misinformation and call for unconstitutional censorship of their perspectives when their own, quote, facts have been shown time and time again to be fungible. And I like the tweet from Lulu Cheng right here. She says, if everyone who has ever been wrong about this, were silenced, there would be no one left talking about it at all, except for the people who had the power to silence others. As you get rid of more and more voices, then the control freaks at the top, the psychopathic, sociopathic control freaks at the top who wanted to force you into silence, and that's what it is. It's forcing you into silence. How are they forcing you, Brian? Economic terrorism. There are people literally losing their PayPal accounts, their Patreon accounts, their Venmo account. They're losing their YouTube channels. They're losing Twitter pages, Facebook pages, and they're being economically terrorized for just trying to get out information and give a dissenting view. This is how serious this whole thing is. They would rather force you into silence and economically devastate you and your family than to admit, hey, you know what? We are actually, Washington, D.C. should just come out. Jen Psaki should say, hey, we are actively involved in stifling the First Amendment. That right that we promised to uphold, protect, and defend? Well, we want to throw that out the window, and that's what our actions say. And actions will always speak louder than words. Leave your thoughts about this for the world and the global thought police in the comment section below. Remember, we are going to, tonight at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, interview Ben. He's got an interesting story that everybody needs to hear. I will see you guys in the next heavily censored shadow ban video. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, give this video a thumbs up, and share it with everybody you know. With all the crazy stated plans of the Great Reset, the currency reset, and even the food reset, it's not a matter of if the store shelves are going to clear and there's a lack of food. The question is when. You need to get long-term storable food. It doesn't matter if it's from me or you just go to the store and you buy food. Just grab dry, storable food while you can. If you want to get it from me, you're going to support the channel and you're going to help yourself out because my link has a discount code embedded within it. You can check that out in the description below.